Hello, friends. Welcome to everyone who's joining me today for some yoga. My name is Jenny. This is a core and restore class. So you're probably going to want some props. I like to use a block, or you can use a stack of books. I also have this kind of rolled up, taped up mat that you can use as well. So that's a nice little prop, and as well as a blanket or two. You can use a thicker blanket as well if you want to get into some support with a cushion. You can also use a bolster, pillows, whatever that is for the restore part. So yeah, we'll just start. Take a minute to, excuse me, to gather your props, and then meet me here in a comfortable seated position. And take your time to settle in. Find whatever seated position works best for you. So as you can see, I like to sit up on a block. Gives me a little more tilt in my pelvis so I can find a little more length in my spine. You can also sit on a blanket. Legs could be crossed, they could be extended. You could draw them in towards the chest if that feels best. But just take some time to settle into your seat. And then you can close the eyes or take them to a soft gaze, starting to find a little bit of stillness in the body. And just start to tune in. Immediately starting to tune into the breath. And maybe just noticing the breath at first. This beautiful everyday process that happens without us even needing to think about it. But when we bring awareness to our breath, we can start to harness its power. So just notice if anything changed as you just start to notice your breath. There's sometimes a natural tendency to start to lengthen the breath when we bring awareness to it, and that's getting us back to our more primal way of breathing. If you ever watch a newborn breathe, they use their full belly. So as you continue to observe your breath, start to find some more length, some more depth to your breath. And if you'd like, get that belly involved. Inhaling, press the belly out, creating space for the lungs to expand. And exhaling, drawing the belly in towards the spine, up towards the heart, creating a little activation in the core, as well as helping to press that air out. You can work to draw the breath in and out of the nose. You're also welcome to fire up Ujjayi breathing, bringing an activation of the muscles in the back of the throat. Kind of creates a whisper breath or an oceanic sound, or like you're trying to fog up a window, kind of that kind of sound, but in and out of the nose. And we focus on the breath in yoga as a tool to help us stay present. So even if you're not working with any controlled breath, if you're just simply breathing, just be aware of that. If you're still working on a pranayama where you need, breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, that's fine. And it is pretty challenging to make it through an entire yoga practice just breathing in and out of the nose. But that's the goal, but just meet yourself where you are. And then start to use the breath to check in with the body. Just kind of noticing any aches and pains, any tension, any tenderness, holding space for any injuries. And know that throughout our practice today, I will be giving multiple options within each pose. And I do this in an attempt to get you to explore, to find what feels right in your body. Not every pose cue is going to be aligned with every single body. So I want to give you some safe parameters to explore. So that, if maybe having shoulders or wrists under the shoulders in plank doesn't feel awesome, maybe taking it a little wider, just feel free to explore. Know that everything that I am offering is simply a suggestion. And if the pose that we're getting into doesn't feel right for you, feel free to find what does. So really taking some autonomy into your practice. So continue to breathe, continue to connect, continue to check in. And we'll start to bring some movement and trying to link the movement with the breath. So as you feel ready, releasing the arms down alongside the body, connecting down to the sits bones, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And then we'll inhale, sending the arms out to the side, start to raise them up towards the sky, just as high as they come. And then on an exhale, we'll bend the elbows and lower the arms down into goalposts. So spreading out through the hands. Elbows can come parallel to the ground, maybe they're higher. And then start to draw the elbows back. And it's okay, just opening up through the chest, just notice where you are. Don't feel like you have to have the shoulders all the way back. And we're not bringing the spine in here, we're just working through the shoulders. So keeping that spine nice and straight, we'll inhale to re-extend the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, just nice little bend. Just 2 more like this. Just moving through the shoulders. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, bend, bring the arms into goalposts. And last one here, reach it up. And exhale, bend into goalposts. Now, still just working through the shoulders. Don't bring the spine into this. Inhale to lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, we'll start to bring the hands down. So fingers start to point down towards the ground. We're just rotating through the shoulders, elbows stay where they are. And then inhale, start to raise and back up. Awesome, just 2 more like that. Exhale, lower the hands down. And inhale, raise and back up. So we're like a little broken rag doll here. And last one. Exhale, lower hands down. And inhale, raise and back up. Awesome, we're keeping the hands here. This time we are gonna bring some movement with the spine. So we'll inhale to draw the shoulder blades together. The chest can lift, gaze could even lift, finding a little arch in the mid and upper back. And then exhale, bringing the elbows, forearms, and hands together as you tuck the chin in towards the chest, separating the shoulder blades, rounding in the upper back. And just 2 more like this. Inhaling to open, so we're still moving through the shoulders, but bringing the chest and the spine in. And exhale, round it out as you bring the arms together. Last one, inhale to open, building some strength in the arms too, just having them raised and defying gravity. Exhale, bring it in, tuck the chin in. Awesome, we're come back to neutral. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, release the hands down. We'll come forward towards hands and knees. So if you need to remove any props you're sitting on, if you need to swing the legs around, however you want to get there. We're coming into a tabletop or hands and knees. And then take your time to kind of feel into this here. Maybe the knees are directly underneath the hips, maybe they're slightly back. We do want the ankles in line with the knees as much as possible, pointing the toes down, pressing into the tops of the feet. We want to spread out through the hands, finding a solid connection down to the hands. And notice the natural tendency of where you place the hands. A common cue is, wrists directly underneath the shoulders. That puts the wrists at a really strong, sharp 90-degree angle, which might not feel awesome. So you can walk the hands forward, you could walk them out wider. Another thing to consider is that our arms are not completely straight, at least not all of them. There's a little bit of what's called a carrying angle where our arm shoots out just a little bit to the side. So maybe bringing the hands a little wider will feel better there. So take your time to figure that out and then extend out through the spine. Draw the belly in, start to find that engagement in the core. With that support of the core, just start to find some cat-cow, just some movement through the spine, inhaling to smile the spine, chest comes forward, belly drops down, and exhale, round it out. Chin tucks in, tailbone tucks as you round out through the spine. So take a few more rounds like this, just finding what feels right there. Maintaining the solid connection to the ground as you press the earth away. And then start to explore some other movements, maybe shifting the ribs side to side, or even circling through the hips. You can start to send the hips back towards a child's pose, maybe forward towards a gentle upward dog or modified cobra. Just finding a little more movement through the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. Awesome work. Now from here, we're going to start to find some core engagement. So come back to what your neutral is, reestablish that solid connection to the ground, and start to draw that core in. This time we're going to prop the toes. So we're pointing the toes down, rooting back through the heels. And we're gonna play with bear pose, but we're gonna take some time to get into it. So we're gonna press into the ground so we have a lift in the back of the heart, some activation through the upper body. And then we're just gonna lift the right knee up off the ground. Just hover it, maybe an inch or two, root back through the heel, feel that low core engage. And then exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift the left knee up, hover it, root back through the heel, start to feel some activation there. You might feel it in the hip flexor, in the low abs. Continue to press into the hands, and exhale, lower the knee down. Now once again, right knee lifts. You're welcome to stay here, or maybe left knee lifts as well, and we pause, rooting back through the heels. Core is engaged. And on an exhale, nice and slow, lower either both knees or just the right knee down. And then inhale, lift just the left knee, or if you want, bring the right to meet. So we're either still working with just one knee or both knees off the ground, rooting back through the heels, starting to feel a little heat in the body, maybe feeling some activation in the legs. Awesome work, exhale, lower down. All right, so we're gonna keep working with that bear pose. If you like that lifting of the one leg at a time, continue doing that. Or we wanna take it a little bit further with some more activation. On an inhale, lift both knees up, or just that right knee. Awesome work. Now from here, if both knees are lifted, we're gonna lower the right knee down and just tap and lift back up. And then lower the left knee, tap and lift back up. Now if both knees are down, then you're just gonna raise one knee up and lift it, or lower down, lift the other knee up and down. So either way, if you're either starting from hands and knees and lifting one knee at a time, or you're up in that bear pose and dropping the knee down. So just find whatever level of activation you want here. Feel that heat building in the body. Awesome work. Kind of more of a subtle movement here. And one more to each side. Nice work. Lower the knees. We'll point the toes and send the hips back to a child's pose, giving those knees a rest, stretching out through the arms. Connect to your breath here. You can even lower the elbows down, maybe raise the hands up off the ground, maybe roll out through the wrists. All right. When you're ready, we'll come back up through hands and knees. And then we're gonna start to work with plank pose. So if your wrists are already feeling it, just from that bit that we did, you're welcome to lower down onto the forearms, or you can stay up on the hands. And you're gonna wanna walk the knees back. The knees could stay on the ground as you shift the hips forward, coming into a modified plank. You could also prop the toes, lift the back knees, and come into full plank. So your choice, lots of options here. Either up on the hands in full plank, knees lowered in half plank, or down on the forearms in both forearm plank or half forearm plank. And no matter where we are, we're still pressing that ground away, pressing either into the forearms or into the hands, finding a lift in the back of the heart. We're rooting back through the heels if the back knees are lifted. Belly is drawing in, core is engaged, nice static hold as you find your breath. Fantastic work. Everything is lifting away from the ground. We're pressing into the hands, belly drawing in and up, rooting back through the heels. Fantastic work. When you're ready, on an exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. You can turn onto either cheek. You can rest the arms down alongside the body. Just take a few rounds of breath here. You can also bring the forehead down to the ground or rest it on a block if that feels better. And any movements that would feel good here, maybe a little shimmy through the hips. You could bend the knees, take them side to side. Awesome work. And when you're ready, we'll come up to a cobra pose. So hands will come near the shoulders, spreading out through the hands, pressing into the tops of the feet. Inhale, start to lift up. Head, chest, shoulders rise up just as high as feels okay. Exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhale, raise up. And exhale, lower. Last one, this round will hold. Inhale, lift, and pause. Maybe you're higher up, maybe you're lower down. Just tune into your back, find what feels good here. Getting a nice strengthening in the back of the core, stretching through the front side of the core. Fantastic work. One more deep inhale, and exhale, release it down. Maybe turn onto the other cheek. You could even bring the hands to frame the head and rest the hands on the knuckles. Maybe again, a little shimmy through the hips or reverse windshield wipers or anything else that would feel good here. All right, we're gonna take another round of plank. You're welcome to continue to explore whatever version you took the first round, or if you want to explore a little bit different. So if you'd like a little extra challenge, we can push up from plank here. So you can bring the forearms to the ground, if that was the better option for you, propping the toes, engaging in the core, lifting the hips into forearm plank, or bringing the hands by the shoulders, finding that engagement, and then pressing up either to your half plank or your full plank. Lots of options to explore. Know that they are not ranked beginner, intermediate, advanced, all just options for you to explore to find what's best for your practice right now. All right, this is a challenge enough just to hold plank. If you want a little bit more, we'll bring the knees in, kind of similar to what we did in our bear pose. So if you'd like, wherever you are, inhale to lengthen through the spine, draw the belly in. Exhale, lower right knee down, just tap it. Inhale, raise it back up. Exhale, left knee lowers down, tap, and raise it back up. Now if you're down in your half plank, you'll just do the opposite. Inhale to raise the right knee up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left knee raises up. And exhale, lower. Let's do a few more rounds like this. Inhale, right knee. Exhale. Inhale, left knee. And exhale. Take 2 more rounds, each side at your own pace. Stay connected to the breath. Last round. Right knee and left. Awesome work. When you're ready, once again, if you're up in forearm or in regular plank, let's all come down to forearm plank. And then we'll slowly just lower the hips. Chest will start to shift forward, coming into a sphinx pose. So a little different hand placement than cobra. If it feels okay to leave the forearms where they are, awesome. You could also walk them forward. That's a little more gentle option for the low back. Or you could come back into your cobra if that feels better. But kind of the same concept here, lengthening through the spine, chest shines forward, strengthening the back as we stretch through the front. Find your breath. Maybe wipe the sweat that's dripping down your face. That's what I have to do. All right. When you're ready, we'll take a nice inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, lower down. We want to send the elbows out to the side and then lower the head down. We'll come out the way we came in once again. So if you want to come back into forearm plank, half plank, or full plank, do it on an exhale, find that engagement, and then raise back up. And then we're taking this to downward dog. So if you're down on the forearms, you're gonna wanna come up to the hands. You can even come through hands and knees, and then lifting the hips, downward dog. So we've got that similar connection to the hands as we press the ground away. We've still got length through the spine. The hips are lifting, core is engaged to help bring that lift. And then the heels are rooting down towards the ground. They definitely don't need to touch, but getting that downward activation. Fantastic work. All right, when you're ready, we'll look up at the hands and just start to walk the feet forward. You can bend the knees as much as you'd like, coming towards a forward fold. Find a good placement for the feet. Maybe they're hip distance, maybe they're closer, maybe they're wider. And release the head down, maybe sway side to side. You could grab opposite elbows and find a little movement, little swaying. work. When you're ready, we'll release the arms if you're grasping, and then bend the knees as you start to lower the hips. A block might come in handy here just to bring the ground closer. And then we're going to start to lengthen through the spine. So find some integrity through the spine as you root the sits bones back. And we're going to start to raise up towards a chair pose. So hands could come to the knees. They could be at the hips. They could come into that goal post, or they could extend overhead as we send the hips back. Now, since we're coming into it from a forward fold, this may feel a little too deep. You're welcome to not bend so deep, maybe raise the chest up. So your chair can be anywhere from here down to here, or whatever feels best for you. Building some strength in the legs, getting a little bit of back bending and strengthening the core. Nice work. Working with some static holds again this week. Building some strength in that holding. All right. We're going to work on some standing balancing here. So when you're ready, on an inhale, we're going to come up to standing, but we're going to bring that right knee up with us. So maybe you come all the way up to standing staff. Maybe that toe stays on the ground and you just kind of pop the knee out. So working on some balancing here. We're rooting down into that left leg, finding that solid connection. And then playing with that right knee. Awesome work. If you want, just start to kind of bring some movement here. Arms can be doing whatever you'd like for counterbalance or for expression. But finding a little movement in the hip here. Testing that balance. And then we're going to come into a tree pose. So whenever you're ready, we're going to open that knee out. And again, you can have the toes propped, kind of like a little kickstand. You could plug the foot into the calf. You could also plug it into the upper thigh. And when I say plug in, that means pressing the foot and the leg back in on themselves. So it kind of creates a little tension. Now, if your foot naturally wants to go to the knee joint, that's okay as long as you don't lock in, if you don't start to bring that pressure. It's okay if it's kind of hovering there, but we don't want to put extraneous stress on that joint. So find your tree pose, find the expression with your branches. Nice work. We're working to draw that right knee open, opening up through the hips, but don't force anything. Just meet your body where it is. Feel that foundation of the standing leg. Awesome work. Now that foot might start to cramp up a little bit. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to bring that knee forward. And maybe a little extra challenge if you'd like, kick that leg out, extend it out. Even if the heel is on the ground, just switches that activation up a little bit. And step it down. Awesome. Go ahead and shake it out, especially if that left foot was freaking out a little bit. Okay, awesome work. When you're ready, find a solid mountain pose. Tadasana, a nice solid foundation in the feet. And then inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, bend the elbows, bring them into goal post. Just like we did at the beginning, inhale, press the hands back up. And exhale, bend. Last one. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, find your goal posts. Awesome work. Keep the elbows there, and we're not moving through the spine. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, drop and start to lower the hands down. Fingers point towards the ground. Elbows stay raised. Inhale, raise and back up. Exhale, lowering down again, just working through the shoulders. No spine is involved here. And inhale, raise them up. Last one, exhale, press the hands down, and then back. And inhale, raise it up. All right, getting the upper back involved. Inhale, shoulder blades draw together, lift through the chest, maybe back bend, maybe even a bigger back bend since we have some more space as we stand. And exhale, bring the forearms, hands and elbows together as you tuck the chin, rounding out through the upper back. Awesome work. Two more. Inhale, opening up. Shoulder blades draw together, heart lifts, gaze could lift. Exhale, bring it forward, rounding out. Elbows stay lifted. Nice work, last one. Inhale, open up. And exhale, round it in. Nice work. Inhale, reach the arms back up towards the sky, nice straight spine. And exhale, dive forward. Come through your forward fold. Take your time. Again, you can bring in a block here to bring the ground closer. And just shake it out here. Find a nice release. You could pedal through the feet. Again, you could shake the head yes or no. Find opposite elbows, sway side to side. Just find a nice little release here, as well as a stretch in the backs of the legs, in the hamstrings, in the low back. All right, then we are finding our chair pose. So finding that solid connection to the feet, and as you feel ready, lower the hips down. Find that extension through the spine, and then we'll start to raise up to whatever version of chair you'd like. Again, hands could come to the hips, they could come to the knees, they could come into those goalposts, or they could extend. And if that deep bend in the knees isn't working for you today, raise it up. You can have just a little bend. And just kind of feel into the feet. Notice where you naturally set up your feet. And then see if maybe making small little adjustments would feel better. Maybe you need to turn the toes out or turn them in, or maybe they're asymmetrical. Just kind of getting to know the proportions of your body, the shapes of your skeleton, to find different variations that may affect poses. All right, feeling that burn in the legs. When you're ready, we're gonna raise up and we're gonna bring that left knee with us. So as you raise up, again, maybe that left heel just lifts, toes stay on the ground, or the toes start to hover. So we're coming through our standing staff, just starting to establish some balancing here, rooting down into that right foot. Again, hands can be doing whatever you'd like for counterbalance. This is a challenge in itself. If you want to bring a little expression, a little movement, feel free to start to move through that hip. Awesome work. And then when you feel ready, we'll start to find our tree. So again, the toe could be, excuse me, toe could be kickstand, touching the ground. It could plug into the calf. It could rest at the knee joint or plug into the inner thigh. And hands doing whatever you need there. And this is playtime. If you find yourself getting frustrated or taking it too serious, just turn the corners of your mouth up. Awesome work. Establishing your tree on the other side. It's not going to look the same as the first side. It's not going to look the same as your neighbor's. It's not going to look the same as mine. Find your own tree. No two trees are alike, and that is by design. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna bring that knee forward. And if you want a little challenge, extend through that left leg. And the heel could be on the ground, it could be hovering, or it could be lifting. Nice work. Whew. Finding that breath. Breathing through hard situations, challenging positions. And when you're ready, lower the leg down. Shake it out. Nice work. And once again, establish your feet, finding your mountain pose. As you feel ready, inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, let's just take a side stretch. So just take it over towards the right. Maybe that arm releases down. And you don't need to arch over really far. You can even just lift through that arm, finding some stretching here. What we don't want is the hips to shift forward or back. They're gonna shift to the side to help find that opening, but we wanna keep the spine and hips aligned. Awesome work. Inhale, come back up through center, and exhale, just take it over to the other side. Arms could stay raised, you could lower that hand down, it could come to the hip, Whatever feels best for you there. And we don't need to go into this extreme side arch to get the benefits here, this opening in the side body. Awesome work. When you're ready, inhale, come back up through center. And then exhale, we'll just dive it forward, finding that forward fold. We'll inhale to take a half lift. Find some length in the spine. Hands can come to the shins or to the thighs. Pause here for a moment. Continue to lengthen through the spine. If you want a little more challenge, you can hover the hands. They could come to the hips or they could reach out into a T. Notice if you start to lock out in the knees, soften through the knee joints. One more deep inhale. And exhale, we're just gonna lower it all the way down, forward fold. We're gonna plant the hands and we'll step the feet back to whatever version of plank you wanna take. So you could come into full plank, lower the knees into half plank, or bring the forearms down for forearm plank. So whichever version you're taking, find that pressing away of the ground, find that lift in the upper body, belly drawing in and up. If the back knees are lifted, we're rooting back through the heels. Fantastic work. Again, you can stay here. This is a challenge. If you want a little bit more, we'll take some hip dips. So working some obliques here. So we'll inhale to lengthen. Exhale, right hip dips down to the right. Doesn't have to come very far. Inhale, bring it back up through center. And exhale, dip to the left. Inhale, back through center. I'll demonstrate it from half plank. Exhale, dip the right hip. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, dip the left. Inhale, back through center. Another round. This is what it will look like on forearms. Inhale, dip the right. Exhale, center. Inhale, dip the left. And exhale, center. Last round. Inhale, dipping right. Exhale, center. Inhale, dip left. And exhale, center. Awesome work. Hold here just a few more rounds. You got this. You are a plank machine today. Building strength, building endurance. When you're ready, lower the knees all the way down. And we'll send the hips back, taking another child's pose. And if you'd like to come off the wrists, feel free to lower the elbows down, raise the hands, maybe rolling out through the wrists or shaking them out. Fantastic work. As you feel ready, we will make our way into a seat, so you can come back up through tabletop and then maybe swing the legs around or however you'd like to get there. But you want to find at the center of your mat with your sits bones, just so you have some space back behind you. Last little core challenge is we're going to play with boat. So we want to start to kind of lean back. The hands can come back behind you if you'd like to kind of establish this balancing at first. We're kind of balancing on the sits bones. So the hands can be behind you. The hands could also be at the knees. And you can start just by maybe raising the heels up off the ground. We're lengthening through the spine, belly drawing in, core is engaged, heart is lifting. And then maybe the heels start to lift. Maybe you play with just raising one leg at a time, or perhaps both legs raise. And they could just hover. You could work towards getting them parallel to the ground. Hands could, again, stay behind you for support. They could be behind the knees, which is a good way to help build core strength, still getting that length in the spine. You could also release the arms. Fantastic work. Keep the toes active, whether they're flexed or pointed, doesn't really matter, but help keep that activation in the legs. And again, watch that you're not rounding out. It's okay if you fall back. But we don't want that rounding. We want to lift in the heart, that extension through the spine. Fantastic work. And this is challenge enough. Stay here if this is enough for you. If you do want just a little bit more, We'll inhale to lengthen. Bring the hands to the heart. Exhale, extend the right leg out as you twist over towards the left. Inhale, bring it back through center. Exhale, twist to the right as you extend through the left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, right leg as you twist to the left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, twist to the right, extend through the left. Inhale, back through center. Nice work, just 3 more rounds of breath here, holding. And on the last one, go ahead and release down. Extend out through the legs and shake them out if that would feel good. All right, and when you're ready, we're gonna take tree pose on the ground. So we're gonna bring the right foot, we're gonna bend the right foot and then open up through that knee. And that foot could be anywhere along the leg. And notice that as you're sitting, if you kind of round out or it's kind of a struggle to sit, that's when a block or a blanket, that little lift in the booty can come in handy. So we've got our left leg extended, right leg is in tree pose, whatever variation that looks like for you. You're welcome to stay up here nice and tall, or if you want, you can bring it into a forward fold. So we're just gonna have the hands down towards the ground or on the leg and just walk down nice and slow. From the chest, lowering the chest down. If you'd like, the heart can continue to lead, or you could tuck the chin in. Dropping down. Let that right knee be heavy, but you're also welcome to bring in a block or some sort of support to slide underneath that knee if gravity is pulling a little too hard on that right now. We're keeping the left toes flexed back, so we've got that activity in the leg. We're checking in with our low back, with our hamstrings, making sure that, we're finding that edge where it feels like we're getting a good stretch, we're challenging the body, but we're not creating any pinching, tearing, burning sensations, no pain, nothing that could cause any potential injuries. Awesome work. Maybe releasing through the head and neck. You could even maybe roll out through the neck a little bit. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. Notice if you can release and soften. Awesome work. When you're ready, nice and slow, we're just going to start to raise up and out of it. And for a counter stretch, we're going to take a variation of Wild Thing. So we're going to bring the left hand behind us. You might want, if you need to, readjust so that that right knee has some cushion, because if you want, we're going to lift the hips and press into that knee. So you can just swing that right arm up and around, reaching it back. Maybe this is where you stay, or maybe you lift through the hips, pointing through that right foot, and taking a Wild Thing variation. So on the side, it kind of looks like that. Awesome work. One more deep inhale, and exhale, release it down. Nice work. What do we have for time? Okay, so we'll draw that right knee up, and we're just gonna take a little twist. So you can stay here. You could also cross the ankle over if that's accessible. And then we're gonna bring the right hand behind us for support. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, start to twist. That left elbow could hook onto the knee. It could also rest on the top of the knee, but what we don't want is to crank or force anything. We don't need to go crazy deep into twists. Drawing that right shoulder back. Beautiful work. Just a few more rounds of breath here. And as you feel ready, we'll inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to slowly untwist, coming back through center. Awesome work. Uncross through the legs. Go ahead and shake them out. And we'll just take that to the other side. So as you feel ready, we'll put a bend in that left knee and then let it drop open, finding our seated tree pose. So again, wherever that foot hits along the right leg is perfect. We're letting that left knee hang heavy, but again, you could slide a prop underneath there for support if you'd like. Excuse me, finding that solid connection down to the sits bones and lengthening up through the crown of the head. And if you'd like, taking it to a forward fold, so just nice and gently walking the hands forward, whether it's on the ground or on the leg, leading with the chest at first, and then if you'd like, rounding down, maybe releasing through the head and neck. Keep the right toes flexed back so that that leg stays nice and active. Again, you could sit on a prop or something to bring a little lift in the booty if that would help. Staying in tune with the sensations in the leg and the hips and the low back. Noticing where you can release, where you can relax. Continuing to breathe. A few more rounds of breath here. And whenever you feel ready, slowly rolling your way up, maybe stacking one vertebrae at a time. Hands can walk back, and we'll take that counter stretch. So that left hand will come back behind us for support. Right hand will kind of swing up and around. You could stay here or start to lift the hips, pointing the right toe. Find a little wild thing. Beautiful work. One more deep inhale and exhale. Release it down. We'll draw that left knee up, finding our twist. So that foot could stay or it could cross. We'll bring our left hand behind us for some support. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, twist on the exhale. And that right elbow could hook or it could also rest on the knee. What we want to avoid, again, is bringing the elbow in front of the knee and then using that to torque ourselves, to crank ourselves into a twist. We don't need to wring ourselves out. The functional range of motion for the twisting in the spine is only about 35 degrees from midline. So we don't have to go very far to keep the spine healthy. Continue to check in with the breath, a little more challenging when we're twisted up, but the breath is always a good indicator if you've gone too far. And then as you feel ready, we'll inhale to lengthen, and then we'll exhale to untwist, uncrossing through the legs and shaking it out. Awesome work. To wrap this up, we will take a forward fold with both legs extended. And you can definitely use props to support you in this. This is, again, when a little lift in the booty might be nice. And with the legs extended, they don't have to be completely straight. You can bend the knees as much as you want. You could bring the chest down. And if you're getting a sensation there, this could be your forward fold. You could also bring cushions or bolsters or blocks or something underneath the knees to kind of soften through the knees as you come forward into your forward fold. You can also set up a configuration of props to rest the head on if you'd like to get a release for the head, neck, and shoulders as you fold forward. So wherever you are in your forward fold, just find that. Nothing forceful. The last thing we want to do is grab onto the legs or to the feet and pull ourselves down. And no, nothing forceful, nothing aggressive. Meet your body where it is. Honor what you got going on today. Fantastic work. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. As you feel ready, nice and slow, we'll start to make our way back up to seat, and we'll take a counter stretch. Hands come back behind you, fingers pointing towards the booty. Roll the shoulder blades back, open through the chest, and the gaze could lift. Maybe this is where you stay, or if you want, the hips could start to raise. This is reverse plank. If that's too much on the knees, feel free to bend the knees and take reverse tabletop. Little different sensation, little different stretch between those two, but we're still getting a nice counter stretch for our back bends. Whatever level you'd like to take it. And we'll take one more deep round of breath here. And when you're ready, nice and slow, lower down. And we're gonna make our way to the ground. If you want one last little core challenge, you're welcome to. Send it back, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Maybe the arms extend. The arms could come down for support. If you don't want this little extra core challenge, just find your way to the ground, however you'd like to get there. But if you want, nice and slow, embrace the shake, rolling it down, one vertebrae at a time. And then when you get to the bottom, you can send the arms overhead. If that feels good, stretch out through the legs, roll out through the wrists and ankles, wiggle through the fingers, through the toes. You can let a sigh out of the mouth, whatever feels good here in this nice big good morning stretch. When you're ready on an inhale, we'll just draw that right knee in towards the chest. If you'd like, you could reach up with the hands, grabbing onto the outside or maybe the tops of the knee. And if you'd like, draw the knee a little more in towards the chest. You could also bring in a little movement, some circular action here. That can get you a little massage of the hip flexor. If that feels awesome, kind of using the top of the femur. Kind of move that around. Nice work. Then we're going to take this into a half happy baby. So we're going to flex the right toes back with the knee bent. Send the foot up towards the sky, and then the knee is going to draw in towards the armpits, or towards the right armpit. So the hand can come behind the knee, then come up the leg or on the outside of the right foot. That left leg can extend along the ground, but if that's, that's pretty intense, opening on the hips. You can also bend that knee and plant the left foot on the ground, bring in a little more stability. Stay connected to your breath. Low back is lengthening along the ground. Beautiful work. When you're ready, we'll release our half happy baby and we'll take this into a twist. So the right leg is going to come over towards the left. Your choice, if that left leg stays extended, the left knee could bend. You could bring the knees to stack and take a twist. So really whatever version of a twist you want to take, with the knee or knees coming over towards the left. The knee can also rest on a block or a bolster, a prop, and then you can play with the depth of the twist with the positioning of the right shoulder. It could raise up off the ground, coming more onto the left side, making it a more gentle twist. You could also invite that right shoulder towards the ground. It doesn't need to touch, but that brings an opening across the chest and a little deeper twist. Check in with the breath. As I said, that's a great indicator. If you feel like you have to hold the breath or it feels forced or stagnant, that's a sign that you've gone too far into any pose, not just into twists, but it's a really good sign in twists. So just pay attention, listen to your body, respond. As you feel ready, we'll slowly start to bring the knees back up. And then we're going to take just the right knee, opening it back up to the right. Left leg is extended if that feels okay. So we're in a full reclined tree pose is basically what it looks like. But if that left leg doesn't feel awesome extended, it could bend, planting that foot. But we're just getting that opening in the right knee. Notice a repetition of shapes within the body, within our practice today, with kind of different variations of tree pose. Nice work. And then as you feel ready, however you want to get there, drawing both knees in towards the chest. Maybe a little tuck through the tailbone and some rocking side to side, or you could circle through the knees. You could give yourself a little squeeze, hugging the legs in. Just a nice little reset between sides, and we'll just take that little series on the other side. So as you start to feel ready, left knee in towards the chest. Excuse me. Right leg is either extended along the ground or knee bent, foot planted. And you can just chill here. You can grab onto the outsides or top of the knee. You could hug it in towards the chest. You could circle it around, getting that nice little massage in the hip flexor. And when you feel ready, starting to set up our happy baby on the other side. So left toes flex back as they come up towards the ceiling. Left knee is bent as it draws in towards the left armpit. Hands again can come behind the knee and you are up the leg or on the outside of the left foot. That right leg is, can be extended, the knee can be bent, foot planted on the ground. Whatever feels best for you on this side. Again, it's our each side are not identical, but they're related. So we want to work both sides, but not force anything, not try to recreate the same exact shape on one side as we do on the other. Just honoring the body where it is and what we got going on. Awesome work. When you're ready, we'll release our half happy baby and start to set up our twist on the other side. So, and your choice, how the legs are configured. The knees are coming over towards the right. It might just be that left knee coming over as the right leg extends. You could draw the knees together and then come into your twist. And don't try to do the same exact thing that you did on the other side. You can use that as maybe a starting point, but tune in. Notice what feels right for you. Find your breath. Fantastic work. And when you feel ready, slowly starting to make your way out of the twist, bringing the knee or knees back up to center. Then we'll find our reclined tree pose. So we want to keep the left knee bent as we open that knee out towards the left. Right leg is either extended along the ground or it could bend, planting the foot on the ground. Offers a little more stability and less intensity in the hips. Just finding that repeated tree pose, but without the challenge of the balance, and gravity is working on our side here with that opening in the hip. Continuing to connect to the breath, to connect to the body, to connect to your present moment experience. It can be a little harder as we start to wind things down as we get near the end of class. But just try. That's all we're here to do. Just try. Do your best. Awesome work. When you're ready, however you'd like to get there, bringing both knees in towards the chest. And then maybe some rocking, some rolling, some circling, some massaging.
And we're going to start to make a transition to our Shavasana, or our final relaxation. If you're ready to get there, then go for it. If you want to take a few extra breaths to explore any final movements, anything that would feel awesome for you, definitely take that. And as you're ready to set up your final relaxation, the world is your oyster. Do whatever you'd like. Use props. You can be on the back, on the side, on the belly. You could come to a seated meditation. Take whatever final relaxation serves you best today. Take as much time as you'd like to start to settle into that. Still staying present, staying connected. And that's all the hard work. Everything leads up to this final pose, to this moment of surrender. It's time where we have worked through our physical practice with intention, with determination, with a certain level of control. And now we get to our final relaxation, our Shavasana, where the only thing that is asked of us is to surrender. To release any control over the breath, over the body, over the mind. To allow all the good work that we've just done to start to integrate into the body and into the mind. But more importantly, to give us the opportunity to practice surrender. And that can reflect off the mat as well as we move through our life with determination, with intention, with control. But really, the magic happens when we allow ourselves to surrender. When we allow things to work themselves out how they're supposed to. Give time for all of that intention and dedicated work to integrate. Take a moment to just surrender, to just be. For those practicing at home, if you do have more time to dedicate to this final surrender, this final relaxation, please give yourself at least 5 minutes, upwards of 20, whatever time you can carve out.
And as you feel ready, gently start to bring some movement back into the body. If you're lying down and aren't there yet, as you feel ready, start to roll onto one side of the body. Welcome to pause in that nurturing pose. And as you feel ready, starting to make your way back up to a comfortable seat, taking, again, as much time as you'd like to get there. And I'll invite you to bring the hands to heart center or to take any other meaningful gesture with the hands. And take a moment before we end to simply offer yourself gratitude for carving out this time, for stepping on your mat and giving yourself this gift of breath, of connection, and of movement. I would like to offer my gratitude to each of you, those that have practiced in person, those of you that have allowed me into your homes today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I see you, I honor you, and I bow to you. Namaste.